Welcome back to another Alvaro video. Now, instead of watching a game being played, we're going to be doing a little bit of out-of-game analysis. I'm going to be looking at a lot of final lobby screenshots so we can see which comps are excelling, which comps are not doing good. I'm going to go through some clips of some good plays, and then I'm also going to give you a quick recap of what you can expect to be going down on day 4 of the Corrupted Cup. So, I'm just going to really quickly go through some final lobby screenshots, and if you want to pause and look at each individual one to just kind of see what's going on, and then if you want to leave the video from there, then you can. I am going to go through these later, but instead of going through each final lobby now, I'm going to give you a quick recap of kind of some crazy upsets and people that are doing good and they're going to continue to be doing good. So first of all, Soju, Robin, Prestovant, some pretty big names here. Yogurt, previously hit rank 1 very recently. Knickknack and Insight, they were point leaders on day 2 and they ended up bustering out on day 3. Also worth noting, Cottontail, the winner of the Defender Cup, gets out on day 3 of the Corrupted Cup at 57th. The biggest thing to note about Soju is that he has never not made it to day 4 since they have started to do these cups. So it kind of sucks for him that he wasn't able to call the entire lobby Disneyland and then just get a free pass onto day 4 of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He actually was the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse this time around. Okay. So some people that are doing good and they're going to continue to be doing good. Setsuko, an interesting one because he's normally often a really strong ladder player, and then he does bad in tournament, but instead he did a little bit of a flip-flop and he normally sits at around 1400 LP. He'll maybe dip down lower than that, and then if he's pushing for rank 1, he'll go above that. But he actually, for the first time in the entirety of the set after getting above 1000 LP, has dipped down below 1000 LP. And instead of being this ladder warrior that Setsuko is known for, instead of he's now exchanged LP just for knowledge, and now he's just a really strong tournament player. Of course, Socks, very strong player, worth noting. He had a fantastic day. And then you already know, look at what we got here at the rank 1 spot. If you've seen, any of my videos before, you already know that I think Dish Soap, by far, one of the best players in the game right now. No one else is doing it like him. And the way that he just plays the game is inspiring. So many people consider TFT a game that is all luck. Now, I think it's pretty well understood that there is obviously a lot of skill aspects in TFT, but I think it's also very well understood that there is a lot of luck aspects. But the thing is that if you have the rank 1 player entering in tournaments and consistently showing up at the top, not even just the top, but the literal rank 1 spot in the standings, it's how can you even consider this game to be based around luck? Dish Soap is just on another level. He's the real Magnus Carlsen of TFT. Okay, so enough with that. Now let's go through some of these lobbies. So some things that I want to cover is, first of all, I want to go over which comps were the most popular, Samira and Belveth, and then if it wasn't that comp, then what comp are people playing outside of that? So here we can see the first lobby. Dish Soap ends up going first with basically a Belveth legendary board. You can see it's not as normal, I guess, as you would think. He has a random Mordekaiser. He's carrying Belveth. Most people end up trying to carry Aphelios, but he had scoped weapons, so he ended up carrying Belveth. And then we can see, Samira player. We can see Samira player. We can see Samira player. Basically, a lot of Samira. If we go to the next lobby, so this is basically game 1. Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, Game 6, and it's all from the perspective of Dish Soap. Now, I did want to look at the perspective of Setsuko and Socks maybe, just so that, you guys didn't think that I'm legitimately just the biggest Dish Soap fanboy. But the thing is that Sox and Setsuko, for some reason, their VODs are just like not up, so I wasn't able to even look at their games, even if I wanted to. So here's the second lobby. We can see that he ended up playing a Senna 3 board, and he has this broken combination, the Jeweled Lotus League of Draven combo, which is like really powerful. And then he has like 4 Sure Shot. Let's see if we can find any Samira Bel'Veth players. Here's a Bel'Veth, but it's actually kind of more so like a vertical threat board. And then here's a Samira, but this is definitely more of a laser core board, and there's actually not that many. Now, the reason why there isn't that many Samira Bel'Veth in this lobby is because this carousel was actually tier, glove, belt. It's like an uncommon carousel that can wind up. But yeah, not a single bow, not a single sword, so it's a lot harder to realistically play around the like Samira Bel'Veth line, because you don't have immediate access to like getting Last Whisper. I mean, obviously, if you start glove, you can get Last Whisper, but if you get too many gloves, it can often be like too difficult to try and hit like BIS, because you really need Gunblade, you really need like some like better tank items, and often you can use a lot of bows, because at the very least you can always build Runaan's, you can always build Giant Slayer if you have to. Whereas like further glove items, you can't really build that much more. You can build Hodge, you can build IE, but I think those items pale in comparison to things like Runaan's and Giant Slayer. So here's another lobby. Samira player, just 2 in this lobby it looks like. Samira Bel'Veth, and Samira Bel'Veth. So like 4 in this lobby. This one's Samira Bel'Veth. With like 2 in this lobby, and then this lobby there's 4 players all in a row. Samira Bel'Veth. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now that we know that Samira and Bel'Veth are easily the most played comps in the tournament, what is something else that's like good? Like what else? If it wasn't Samira and Bel'Veth, then what was it? I think it was like 4 different things. So it could be Yuumi, Viego, some form of like Anima Squad, whether it be Vayne or Misfortune, Kai'Sa's a big one, and then basically like the Cleansing Safeguard Lee Sin board. So that's what, 5 different things? So it's either Samira Bel'Veth or one of those 5. And we can see here, like here's some weird like Viego MF board. There's another Viego MF board, and then here's like a Yuumi. And so if you kind of go through, you can look at each one again. Here, I'll show them all. If you want to look at each one individually, then you can see that there's like a lot of basically what I just said, and there really isn't too much like derivation. There is some like laser core builds, but I think a lot of people have not been playing it as much because basically of the nerf, and then of course the bug fix where you can't heal off of the drone damage anymore, so that is like a massive part of why that comp was good. One thing I want to point out is that there is a lot of Yuumi, but as you'll notice, a lot of the Yuumi players did not do very well. Now I think Yuumi is like a very strong comp, and I don't want you to think that Yuumi is like as bad as this goes to show. And some things that I want to point out is that right here you can see Riven carry hero augment, or like this could be support as well, I guess. But you might know that this Yuumi player doesn't even have a Riven on their board. So not only did they not have hero augment on either 2-1 or 3-2, but they got it on 4-2, and they didn't even have enough gold to play it. So I mean, I'm pretty sure their spot was just like guaranteed 8th anyways, and they just chose to play Yuumi and then proceeded to go 8th. That's not Yuumi. And then we have 2 Yuumi players here, and not only are they contested, but also you will notice that not hero augment on 2-1, not hero augment on 3-2. Yuumi gets significantly more powerful when you can play either Rell, Yuumi, or Nilah like hero augment. So like if you don't have that, then there's a good chance that you probably shouldn't be trying to play Yuumi. And here we finally see a hero augment on 3-2 that played Yuumi, but if you'll notice, Yuumi items are pretty mid. Now that doesn't matter too much, but also worth noting is that it's 3-cost hero augment, but you can see that there's also 4-cost people. Like people got 4-cost like augments, 4-cost hero augments as well. So, you know, this is just like this just sucks because, you know, even though Nyla augment is really strong in this comp, you're never taking a 4-cost hero augment in this comp, and then everyone else just spikes in power from hitting that. And you'll notice the other 2 people who didn't choose 4-cost is Vayne and Vayne. And so they're both playing Spreadshot Vayne. Spreadshot Vayne is basically a 4-cost carry hero augment because it turns Vayne into a 4-cost. So yeah, basically the entire lobby has 4-cost carry hero augments, and you have a 3-cost. So that's also one of the reasons why I think Yuumi ended up doing poorly. Other things to note is you'll see so many Samiras. Samira Daredevil, I think, was by far the most commonly picked. Samira. Not only does it give you a Samira, but it gives your whole team attack speed. No hero augments in this one. Samira. And also you might find a correlation with Samira being higher up in the games. Now so the final 2 games were 5-cost and 4-cost mixed. I believe they were both 4-cost, 5-cost, 5-cost. So more 5-cost than 4-costs. And something that's funny to notice is that these games are different, but you might notice something common between them. Fiddlesticks, Aphelios, and then 4-cost, and then 3 Syndras. Fiddlesticks, Aphelios, and then just random 5-costs, and then a Soraka carry. So yeah, basically, I'm pretty sure the Urgot carry hero augments are undertuned. Nunu carry hero augment is severely undertuned because I'm pretty sure Nunu is just not very comparable to units like Aphelios and Fiddlesticks. Like, yeah, Nunu is like a strong unit, but if you're getting a Aphelios or a Fiddlesticks and their augments are like significantly increasing their power, whereas like the Nunu ones are like not that much strong. You get AP over time, and he gets like increased like movement speed for his carry one. That doesn't make him like a really strong unit. Whereas getting an Aphelios, getting a Fiddlesticks, those are just very powerful things. And yeah, of course you can see Fiddle, Aphelios. Like, it's just not a contest. If you're trying to cap your board, you really need to be playing around like Aphelios, and then most of the time you just want like a Fiddlesticks on your board. I mean, these players are playing around capped Aphelios, and then the 2 Fiddle guys are probably just people that ended up like high rolling in the early game, and they were able to convert that into a win. Okay, so lots of themes there. Now let's get into some of the clips. So here is the first clip. This is a Soju clip. And we can see that it's later in the game, and this is the first anvil, or like this is an anvil that he saw, a component anvil. And he went for cloak instead of, you know, some form of damage item. Obviously, he only has like 2 tank items, basically like 1.5 tank items. So you want to go for tank items anyways. But the reason why I thought this play was pretty interesting is because he scouted the lobby and he saw that most of it was AP. And so I think a lot of people just assume that Rammus is just better than Cho'Gath. But in a lobby filled with AP, of course, Cho'Gath has more base MR than Cho'Gath, than Rammus, and Rammus has more armor. So he chooses to make Declaw, and then he puts in Cho'Gath 2 over Rammus 2. Nothing too crazy, but, you know, just something to think about. Here we can see a clip from Dish Soap. It's 2-7, so he's trying to tailor your board. You can see that there's no hero augment in the game yet, and he's trying to tailor his board for a hero augment. And he has Jeweled Lotus. Now, if you do not know, Jeweled Lotus in combination with the Draven carry, or the Draven support hero augment, Ruthless Blades, is one of the strongest combinations you can get in this game. uh, especially for like a gold into a 2-cost hero augment, it basically just turns your entire team into a carry. So how does he tailor his board? He has a Sure Shot in, but not only that, he makes sure to play this Draven so that he can get Ace, so it increases his odds of hitting the Draven carry hero augment. And you can see the fight goes by. He ends up losing, but it's no big deal. And the hero augment is 2/2/2. He rolls once, sees Ruthless Blades, of course, because he knows exactly what he's going for, hits it, and yeah, now his game it just becomes a lot easier because his board is significantly more stable no matter what. Basically, his entire team has 100% crit rate and everyone's ability can crit. So yeah, this combination is like ridiculous. Like this Wukong and this Galio was doing like 1k damage like every fight. And then here we can see another dish soap clip. Now in this clip, it's going to cover exactly how you can counter something like Cleansing Safeguard. Cleansing Safeguard is really popular in the meta right now, and it seems pretty game breaking a lot of the times. So Dish Soap goes ahead and shows you 2 different ways that you can counter it. The first is you can build a Zephyr. And so instead of having to build a Zephyr, he gets shown Future Sight, and he knows that there's 2 Lee Sin carry hero augment players in this lobby. So he knows that no matter what, even if he doesn't want to use the value from the Future Sight, like letting you see who you fight next, he's always going to guarantee that he has Zephyr in the late game so that he can counter these Lee Sin players. We can see exactly how he goes ahead and counters the Lee Sin carry hero augment by building the Zephyr. He Zephyrs one of them, they all focus the one on the left here, they kill it really quickly, and then instead of having to deal with 2 Lee Sins shielding each other, you can see that they very easily make quick work of the second Lee Sin because he doesn't have to worry about them, you know, always casting and healing back and shielding each other. They just take one out, wait, take the other one out. Now, the second way that he counters this Lee Sin is that, you know, a lot of people are when they put Aphelios on their board, they're always insta-clicking Duskwave. But instead, what Dish Soap is going to do is he's actually going to use his mind, and he's thinking, okay, if all I need to do is kill these Lee Sins, why would I use Duskwave when I can actually use the underutilized Onslaught? And what does Onslaught do? It's premier single target removal. But not only that, the ability literally hits 2 units. So he has this Aphelios on his board, and he has it on Onslaught to make it easier to burst down both Lee Sins simultaneously. So, I mean, he does have Zephyr in the spot, and he was able to Zephyr one of them, and then, you know, burst one down, burst the next down. But if you don't have Zephyr, then maybe consider playing, you know, Onslaught if you're in like a top 2, top 3 situation, kind of like how he is here, and you know exactly, or like you're playing around like Captaphelios, instead of playing Duskwave and just feeding the entire team mana and making it impossible to actually get through the Lee Sins, maybe try using Onslaught, and that way it'll be a lot easier to take out both of the Lee Sins, and then you can worry about, you know, the enemy's backline later. It was fun following all this high-level TFT. If you want to follow along as well, I'm going to be hosting a watch party in my Discord. Just join the Discord link in my bio, and there's a good chance that we'll be watching the games as you're watching this video. Hopefully you learned something in this video. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.